Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Let me start with a question that will make you uneasy for a moment. Are you in love with the idea of someone or with who they really are? Because that question alone decides whether you should marry them or walk away before your life gets quietly destroyed. Before we dive deep, make sure to like this video and subscribe, not just for more insights, but to protect yourself from repeating the mistakes most men never recover from. Now, I want you to picture this. It's late at night, she's asleep next to you, and you're staring at the ceiling wondering if this is it, if this is what peace feels like, or if it's the start of your own emotional prison. That doubt you feel right now isn't weakness. It's your intuition trying to warn you. You see, many men confuse emotional comfort with emotional safety. A woman can be warm, affectionate, even supportive, but if she doesn't truly understand or respect your inner world, she can never be your partner. She becomes your emotional obligation instead of your peace. Marriage isn't about love alone. It's about the alignment of values, respect, and maturity under stress. Watch how she reacts when things don't go her way, not when everything is easy. Anyone can love you when you're winning, but who she becomes when life gets inconvenient tells you the truth. If she shuts down, manipulates, or uses affection as a weapon, that's not someone you marry, that's someone you survive. The biggest mistake men make is marrying potential. You see her heart, her softness, her dreams, but you ignore how she treats you in the present. You think love will fix her, or that patience will teach her loyalty. But love isn't a classroom. It's a mirror. It reflects exactly who both of you are when no one's performing anymore. So if you're questioning whether you should marry someone, don't look for perfection. Look for patterns, how she talks about others, how she handles failure, whether she brings calm or chaos into your world. Those subtle behaviors reveal what your future marriage will feel like. And the truth is, if your gut already feels uneasy, that's not fear of commitment. That's your spirit rejecting a mismatch it knows will cost you peace. Let me be brutally honest with you. The way she treats you in private matters far more than the way she treats you in public. Out there, she can be charming, attentive, even radiant. But behind closed doors, when there's no audience, her true character comes alive. Watch how she handles frustration, disappointment, and even boredom. Does she lash out, sulk, or blame? Or does she communicate, compromise, and respect you? Because the woman you marry is the woman who will stand with you in the small, unseen moments, not just the grand gestures. Many men ignore this truth because they've been conditioned to chase excitement. A flashy date, passionate arguments, heated makeups. These are not indicators of love. They're indicators of chemistry, which fades faster than most men realize. What lasts is stability, mutual respect, and emotional intelligence. When you wake up one day to bills, responsibilities, and routine, the chemistry is gone. What remains is her character. And if her character doesn't align with yours, your marriage will feel like a daily negotiation with an enemy disguised as a partner. Pay attention to how she talks about the people she's had in her life, her friends, her family, her exes. Does she take accountability for her mistakes? Or does she always paint herself as the victim? Because in marriage, accountability isn't negotiable. It's the foundation of trust. Without it, you're building on sand. No amount of love, charm, or attraction can repair a foundation that's cracked from the start. I also want you to notice how she reacts to your success and ambition. Does she celebrate you genuinely, or does she feel threatened? Marriage is not a partnership if one person needs the other to shrink in order to feel safe. If she subtly undermines your confidence, dismisses your dreams, or injects guilt into your ambitions, that's a warning sign. She may not even realize she's doing it, but over time, it erodes your self-worth, quietly, persistently. And here's the part most men never admit to themselves. Love alone is not enough. Being in love with someone is intoxicating, but it doesn't teach you how to navigate life's chaos together. Only compatibility, shared values, and emotional maturity will. So pay attention to the cracks, the hesitations, the inconsistencies. They aren't flaws to fix. They're the roadmap to your future reality. Now let's talk about something most men are terrified to admit. Fear. Fear isn't a weakness, it's a signal. When you hesitate about marrying someone, that hesitation is your subconscious measuring risk, assessing whether this relationship will nurture you or drain you. Many men ignore that fear because society tells them to commit and man up. But ignoring it is the fastest way to end up in a marriage that silently destroys your soul. You need to listen to it. Ask yourself, when she disagrees with you, does she truly listen, or does she gaslight and twist your words? Marriage isn't about winning arguments. It's about solving life's problems together. If she constantly turns your thoughts, opinions, and feelings into ammunition, you are signing up for a life of subtle battles and emotional erosion. That honeymoon phase charm, it doesn't matter. What matters is the daily reality, the quiet hours when love either builds or breaks you. Another invisible trap is overdependency. Does she need you to feel whole, or does she complement your life? A healthy partner supports your growth without suffocating you. If she's emotionally dependent, you'll find yourself trapped in caretaking, constantly walking on eggshells to avoid her insecurities. That's not marriage. That's a slow bleed of your freedom. And trust me, no love, no matter how intense, can compensate for that drain. Watch her reactions in stressful situations. Financial stress, family conflict, personal setbacks. Does she rise with resilience or crumble into blame and complaint? Marriage is a long road, filled with moments that reveal who we really are. The truth is, the woman you marry must be your teammate in both triumph and disaster. If she cannot show grace, patience, or maturity under pressure, she is not ready for marriage, and neither are you if you ignore that reality. Finally, notice her relationship with boundaries. Does she respect your space, time, and autonomy, or does she resent them? Boundaries are not a barrier to love. They are the skeleton that supports it. Without them, intimacy collapses under pressure and resentment grows in silence. A partner who cannot honor your limits will eventually teach you the harshest lesson. Love without respect is suffering disguised as romance. Here's a truth most men never hear. Emotional honesty is the single strongest predictor of a successful marriage. Notice how she talks about her feelings. Does she express them clearly, or does she hide behind passive aggressiveness, silent treatment, or vague complaints? Marriage demands transparency. You cannot build a life with someone who cannot show you their inner world without fear or manipulation. That's not intimacy. That's a performance, and a performance collapses as soon as life's pressures hit. Pay attention to her level of self-awareness. Can she admit when she's wrong? Can she see her own patterns and take responsibility for them? Because love isn't a shield that protects you from truth. It is a mirror. And if she cannot face herself honestly, she will reflect chaos into your life instead of clarity. Many men think they can teach a woman's self-awareness over time. They can't. People only grow when they are willing to look at themselves and evolve. If she resists reflection, you're marrying potential, not reality, a gamble you will regret. Now think about respect, not the public, Instagram-style respect, but the private kind that you feel deep in your bones. Does she honor your opinions, your choices, your ambitions? Or does she belittle them subtly, making you question yourself daily? A woman who truly respects you uplifts without controlling. One who cannot respect you in small, invisible ways will never respect you when the stakes are high. And stakes are always high in marriage, whether you see them coming or not. You also need to notice consistency. Does she say one thing and do another? Does her mood dictate how she treats you? Emotional volatility is not romantic. It's a warning sign. Stability doesn't mean boredom. It means you can rely on her to be herself, even when life is messy. If she's unpredictable, it creates a life of uncertainty that slowly erodes your confidence, your joy, and eventually, your love. Finally, watch how she treats others, servers, colleagues, friends. These are reflections of her character. Kindness that is selective or that exists only when it benefits her is not the kindness that sustains a marriage. True character is consistent, even when no one is watching. Marry someone whose integrity flows into every corner of her life, because that integrity will carry into the heart of your shared life. Here's something most men ignore until it's too late. Compatibility isn't about hobbies or shared Netflix shows. It's about emotional rhythm, moral alignment, and life vision. You can love someone deeply and still be fundamentally incompatible. Ask yourself, when it comes to major life decisions, money, children, career priorities, family obligations, do your values align, or are they only compatible in theory during calm moments? Because calm moments are temporary. Life will test you in ways you cannot predict, and if your foundations differ, conflict becomes inevitable. Notice how she handles conflict. Does she seek resolution, or does she escalate, withdraw, or manipulate? Conflict is inevitable in marriage. It's not a sign of a bad relationship. It's a measure of character. If she cannot face conflict with honesty, fairness, and a willingness to compromise, she will weaponize every disagreement. You will learn to fear arguments, not because they hurt, but because they reveal the cracks in her character, and those cracks will only widen over time. Also, examine her capacity for gratitude and appreciation. Does she acknowledge your efforts, or do you feel invisible despite everything you do? Marriage is a partnership, not a scorecard. If one partner is constantly seeking validation without giving it, resentment grows silently. Over the years, the smallest gestures of neglect or indifference compound into a chasm that no love alone can bridge. Gratitude is not superficial, it's a signal of emotional maturity, and you deserve a partner who can recognize it. Watch her relationship with freedom, both hers and yours. Can she support your growth without insecurity? Does she pursue her own life, or does she demand yours become an extension of hers? Independence and interdependence coexist in a healthy marriage. Without balance, one person becomes suffocated while the other dominates. And domination disguised as love is one of the most dangerous traps in long-term relationships. Lastly, consider her consistency in kindness, empathy, and loyalty. Do her words match her actions? Do her promises hold weight? Because marriage is not built on fantasies, it's built on reality. You can be in love with her charm, her laughter, her beauty. But if these qualities aren't backed by integrity and alignment, they will not carry you through the decades. Trust the quiet signals, the patterns, and the moments when no one is watching. That's where your answer truly lies. Now let's face the ultimate truth most men avoid. The decision to marry is not just about her. It's about the man you become when you commit. Because marriage magnifies character, it amplifies strengths, but it also exposes weaknesses. If you are not ready to be the best version of yourself, disciplined, patient, self-aware, and emotionally intelligent, no woman can make marriage work. Love alone will not carry you. Your own readiness will. Think about the future you want. Not the romanticized version, but the real version. The mornings, the responsibilities, the stress, the triumphs, and the mundane routines. Does she elevate that life, or does she drain it? Can she be your partner when the world doesn't bend in your favor? Or is she only present when life feels easy? Because life will not always be easy, and marriage is less about grand gestures and more about unwavering support through ordinary days. Pay attention to how she treats your dreams. Does she encourage you, challenge you, and celebrate your growth? Or does she feel threatened when you evolve? Marriage is a partnership in growth, not a cage. A woman who cannot rejoice in your progress will eventually resent it, and subtle resentment is far more destructive than open conflict. You deserve someone who builds you up while building herself, not someone whose love is conditional on your limitations. Finally, trust your intuition, the gut feelings, the tiny signals that whisper warnings or affirm comfort. They are the accumulated wisdom of your experiences, your observations, and your survival instinct. When every logical analysis aligns with your inner voice, clarity emerges. And if your instincts hesitate even slightly, don't ignore it. Marriage is not a risk to be taken lightly. It is a lifetime of intertwined existence, and every hesitation is worth examining. Remember this: marrying the right person brings peace, growth, and a deep, unshakable joy. Marrying the wrong person brings frustration, regret, and emotional erosion that is almost invisible until it's too late. Do not rush. Do not settle. Look beyond the romance, beyond the charm, beyond the surface. Look at patterns, reactions, integrity, and alignment. That is where the truth lives. That is where you will find your answer. Your life, your peace, and your happiness depend on choosing carefully. Because marriage is not just a celebration of love, it's the architecture of your future. Choose wisely and choose with clarity.